Hey there, guys. It's me. I am back from Europe, and I'm filming this at 12:10 Thursday, July 17th. 18th, Thursday, July 18th. Sorry. Um, I got back on Monday. I picked up comics. It would have been yesterday. Now, um, let me just show you. This is a month's worth and about $100 worth of comics that I read all today, and I'm gonna review them all in a particular order that I made. It's not chronological. It's mostly partially chronological, but also by series. So and as you can see, it's a lot of comics. I'm gonna try and get through this as quick as possible, but also thoroughly. Um, so let's just get started with the first comic, actually. Just making some room here. Okay. So whew. And of course my whatever. Okay. So starting with Adventure Time with Fiona and Cake, limited series, issue 6 of 6. So last one in the series. Overall, a pretty good ending to the series. I mean, this continues, of course, where 5 left off, where we have the flame print, being captured by the Ice Queen, and really it's just like the final battle between Fiona and the Ice Queen, and it actually takes a kind of twist at the end. The fight ends unexpectedly, and but I feel it was a good way for it to end. And then, of course, at the very end, we return to the framing device of the story, which is well, if you're a fan of Adventure Time, you should already know the whole story behind the Fiona and Cake universe, and it's a neat little way to end the limited series. I enjoyed it. So overall, I mean, if you haven't been reading Fiona and Cake, it is one of the cutest comics I think to ever have been written. So and if you enjoy Adventure Time, this it measures up to the episodes, and it measures up more importantly, or rather, I think more importantly is that it measures up to the original cartoon, but it also measures up to the quality found in just the normal Adventure Time comic, which I'm going to be reviewing right now as soon as I get this one away. Figure might as well put them away after I'm done reviewing them, right? Don't want them clogging up everything, because that's a lot of comics. I don't want them just lying around and getting all messy. So, right now we have Adventure Time issues 17 and 18. Here are the covers I got. And this continues the kind of the dungeon story arc that they were going with Finn, Jake, and the Ice King exploring a dungeon that the Ice King hunts in Aberdeen, and we find out that the Lick, whatever, all built together. So 17 leaves off, or rather picks up where we were in the end of the Ice King's dungeon. They get the Ice King's treasure, and it's one of those things about the Ice King that just kind of tugs at the heartstrings, you know. So it's one of those sort of things. But right before we find out what the Ice King's treasure is, I just love this. We get they're going down and they open the treasure chest, and then I don't know if you can read it at the very bottom, because at the very bottom, I love that they do this at the Adventure Time comics. They have like a little commentary, and the commentary for this page is da 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 da. So just like Zelda, which I mean I love, and you can tell just by reading that there's a heavy video game influence on this arc. Like they refer to things as final bosses and dungeon bosses and levels and gaining experience. So, and as someone who loves video games, I thought that was. I think it's just a neat arc, and of course it retains the same humor and quality of writing as the previous issues have. So if you haven't been reading Adventure Time and you like Adventure Time, just totally pick it up. And if you're just haven't gotten into Adventure Time at all, just watch Adventure Time. It's like the best thing ever. And that seems like it'd be an exaggeration, but really it's not. It's one of the best things ever. So start reading it, start watching it, just get into Adventure Time. I swear you won't regret it. So, moving right along, switching to Marvel now, and we have issue 13 of the Superior Spider-Man, which ends the Spider Slayer arc that they were doing. Spider Slayer trying to escape death row. Issue 12 ended with Doc Ock Spidey making that choice, like save the civilians or go after the villain, and he's like, fuck it, I'm going after the villain. So this continues right after making that decision. He just makes a beeline for Spider Slayer, and kind of a spoiler, but he actually does just kill Spider Slayer outright in the comic, and at the end we see the ramifications of that, and we kind of get more of Doc Ock's plan of becoming the Superior Spider-Man, which involves him getting his own secret base, well, not so secret base, and really making a lot of changes to the Spider-Man procedure, getting minions for one, which we'll see how that turns out in the next issue. But, I mean, I was wary of Superior Spider-Man for a long time. I mean, I do, like I said, I trust Dan Slott. I enjoy his work. But it always was like, well, what's the point? How long is this really going to last? How different will Awkwardly be? Will he just be kind of a more stuck-up Spider-Man? But you can really tell he's diverging, and Doc is really becoming his own sort of character. And I think it's interesting just that we do now have a Spider-Man that does kill, and kind of playing with the the effectiveness of that. And of course, comics have played with that before, with the whole if you don't kill the villain, it'll just be back. And so now we have a Spider-Man who does kill, who does use these extreme methods, and then how the public perceives it, how effective he is, and it's really becoming its own thing, its own monster, and I'm enjoying it. I do. I think Slott's really hitting it out of the park. So if you haven't been reading Superior Spider-Man, I'd start next issue, because it seems like we're getting a new costume for one, but it also seems like we're getting a whole new Spider-Man, like legit, like a whole new Spider-Man that's not just Doc Ock with some Peter or whatever. It's just Doc Ock as a hero, doing what he thinks is best and really taking control. And I'm excited. So after that, we have Hawkeye issues 11 and 12, and they went on a bit of a different route. Issue 11 is actually all about the pizza dog, and you can even see like on the masthead or whatever it is, it's like Lucky, aka Pizza Dog, who got adopted by Hawkeye, and the whole issue is told through the dog's point of view, and we get there's like no dialogue. The little dialogue we get, it's like we only get a couple words per bubble because he's a dog and he doesn't know English, and the rest of it is told by these like blueprints and ideograms, which I think works really well to show how the dog sees the world. It's like you associate the smells with the people, and so like for Clint, it's like he associates Clint with the smell of coffee, and then the coffee with his cup, feeding him, and the food, and then the bow and arrow, of course. And it's like it has a bit of a detective thing going on, where Pizza Dog is kind of figuring out what happened um, with the murder that happened. I think it was issue 10. Um, and kind of piecing these things together, and we just get kind of issue 10 through the dog's point of view, but also a little bit of issue 12, which again doesn't focus on Clint or Kate, but Clint's brother, whose name I forget because I read all of these comics today in like the past 5 hours. Barney Barton. And so we see kind of Barney Barton's experience growing up with Clint as a child, so we get a little of Clint's backstory. But also, just we get this great kind of day in the life of Barney, who's kind of this hobo who lets people beat him up for money. Um, and basically the two issues, 11 and 12, are kind of like just expanding the universe with these side characters. Barney, who I think we're just being introduced to in this run. Um, but he becomes really sympathetic, and you see, and he's first introduced. I guess he's like hinted at in issue 11, but because we're the dog, he's like no idea. He's like he sees this guy and he smells him, and he smells kind of like Clint, but it's not Clint. And we find out what he was doing there in this issue and his whole story, and it's sweet. I mean, yeah, like there's much tension, but it builds the world and it builds the characters and the relationships, and I like it. And really, read Hawkeye. It's been one of the best comics of the year, so pick it up. Even if you're not interested in the character, it's just a good comic because they really kind of give you a whole new take on the superhero and the civilian superhero sort of idea. So getting into DC Comics now, and of course that's the majority of what I read. With the Green Team, issue 2, following issue 1, where we left off with the Green Team being assaulted by this mysterious guy named Riot, who can duplicate himself, and he's after, apparently, the not Iron Man suit that the Green Team has now. They defeat Riot or escape him. The first half is the fighting Riot with the super suits and escaping him, and the second is kind of developing the relationships between the characters more. Commodore goes, I forget everyone's name in this. Commodore goes with, I think his name is Muhammad, to his penthouse in New York to recuperate. Meanwhile, you have the what are their names? I don't know. Girly on the cover go with guy in cowboy hat. What are their names? I know nothing. But yeah, and so they're off on their own, and apparently they have some romance going on between each other, but she's in the public relationship is with Commodore, but she's really in love with the other guy, and so we get some relationship building going on. We get some intrigue with Commodore being obsessed with all the superhero stuff and what he really wants to do with it. So really leading into, I guess, the bigger plot or the bigger conceit of the series, which I don't know. I'm not exactly hooked yet. I might give it till the end of the arc, but not exactly hooked. So yeah. Moving on to Teen Titans number 21, we get the continuation of the Trigon arc that they're doing with. And really, this whole issue is a fight scene between the Titans and Trigon's sons, Raven's brothers. That's like the whole thing is fight. We don't really get any more explanation or world building. It's just Titans versus Trigon, and it's a pretty good fight scene. I mean, it's it's the whole comic, so it's I don't know, like it's still well paced, even though it takes up the whole comic. It never feels like it's being stretched out or anything. And at the end, of course, the stakes get raised. I not you know it's a fight scene. There's not much happening other than fighting. It's pretty well done fighting. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Scott Lobdell, but I don't know. It's not a bad fight scene. It's pretty action heavy comic. Exciting enough, I guess. And I'll see where it's going. Next, we got Aquaman 21. Um, continuing the thing that they're doing with the first king of Atlantis taking over control, kind of like what they're doing in Wonder Woman with the Firstborn. Um, and we get more on what the Scavenger's doing. And really, by the end of this, we have a war on two fronts. We have Aquaman finding out what's happening with Myra, whatever, and the First King, and First King's just taking over the world and whatever, reclaiming his throne. Meanwhile, the Scavenger, who's been the guy who's collecting all the Atlantean weaponry left on land from the Atlantean invasion, is we find out what his real plan is, and stakes get raised on the other front. So this is we're reaching climax in this arc, and it's well written as always. I mean, Aquaman is consistently one of the best written comics of the month. I feel Jeff Johns really breathed a new life in the character. So this arc's just about to get exciting, like just about to hit its peak. So pick it up. Moving on to the Flash, number 21. Flash is still trying to figure out what the deal with Reverse Flash is, and to do that, he tracks down the other speedster he knows about, who's Kid Flash. The majority of this issue is just Flash chasing after Kid Flash. A lot of pretty art, I think. I mean, but I always loved the art in Flash since the reboot. I thought it's one of the best looking comics. I still love how they do the most creative ways just to get the title in there. I always love that. I always love watching how he does it, because I don't know, it's great. It's creative and I love it. And so most of it is a race. Well, not a race, but a chase scene. Pretty well done. We get a nice tour of the world. I mean, like I said, the art's beautiful. We get to see his France. We get to see his Middle East. And we also get a little backstory on Kid Flash. Apparently, he doesn't take his power from the Speed Force, and he's from the future, which, and Kid Flash doesn't really explain anything. We don't really get anything explained to us, but knowing comics history, it kind of points to saying this Kid Flash is Bart Allen, but maybe from further ahead in the future, maybe not related to Barry Allen at all on this timeline. It's hard to say. But of course, at the end, we have to have a little cameo about Reverse Flash and see what he's been up to, and but he's still a huge mystery. We still really have no idea what he's doing. Just that he's hunting people with Speed Force powers for some reason. But yeah, Flash again, still one of the best comics in the DC lineup right now. Art's beautiful, and I don't know. Really, it's just a treat for the eyes, but it's not badly written either in any respect. So pick it up if you've been enjoying it. Pick it up if you haven't been reading Flash. I recommend it wholeheartedly. So next we get Earth 2, issue 14, which breaks away from where we were before with the what was it, the Captain Metal or something, or Captain Steel that we had in the last issue, and we're catching back up with Dr. Fate, who's Jay Garrick and Alan Scott, as they're preparing to invade the country that Steppenwolf is the dictator of, and so we're getting kind of an all-out war sort of thing going on between the New Wonders and Steppenwolf, and that's basically the whole thing. Kind of like Teen Titans, it's just pretty much a big fight scene. We get some stuff with the world military kind of joining this war, because that was planned the whole time. Not the Justice League, the I guess they're calling themselves the New Wonders. They decide to do a preemptive attack to try and get people on their side. It's like, yeah, they're really taking initiative. The World Army is like, whoa, hold on, hold your guns, dude. Hold your shit. And they kind of get mad and get into a fight. And then by the end, Steppenwolf sends his cronies to meet the New Wonders and see what's going on. And, I guess like Teen Titans, like Flash, this is really kind of building to the climax of the arc. If you've been reading it, I mean, it's well written. It's a good comic. But I guess like just with these arc-based things, with the serials, you really have to see the whole story in perspective to really give a good judgment. But I'd keep up with it. I'd keep reading it. So moving along again, we have Green Arrow, start of a new arc, introducing, as you can see on the cover, Count Vertigo. I really think Green Arrow is starting to pick up after a kind of meh last arc that kind of went on a little too long and, a lot of questions, not too many answers sort of dealio. And this one really picks up. We have a start of a new arc. We get, it opens up with just an ambush with Green Arrow completely infiltrating the secret base that we later find out belongs to Count Vertigo. Green Arrow finds a person MacGuffin who might explain some of his history, explains a little thing about Komodo, who's the villain introduced in the last arc. And it's well written. We finally get some really good action. We get a nice ambush, nice infiltration scene going on. So I'd pick up Green Arrow if you haven't been reading it. I think this is a good place to hop on. Nice action, nice story going on right now, nice plot, and it's only a two issue arc. So I mean, if just really tiny investment if you want to get in and see what's happening with Green Arrow. And like I said, it's really starting to pick up. So now we have Green Lantern, green, and again, middle of arc, we have the new Green Lantern Corps led by Hal Jordan fighting off Larfleeze. He's joined by Saint Walker, and I don't know the name of this Star Sapphire, but like a lot of these, just been a fight scene. A pretty well done one. We get the new recruits coming into their own. We get Hal Jordan being awesome. We get some building towards kind of new threats going on and why stuff is happening, and all the rings shut off for some reason, and then they turn back on. And anyway, we don't really get that many answers, like I said. I didn't say that, but it's still setting up the main story of this arc. I think this is only issue 2 of it. It doesn't say, but yeah, kind of still too early to tell where exactly this arc is going and how it's doing, but it's not a bad comic, not by a long shot. So moving on to Wonder Woman, issue 22. So I have a feeling this is the beginning of a new arc. Where's the title page? It doesn't say. But last issue we left with Orion bringing Wonder Woman and company to New Genesis. So we start this issue with Wonder Woman waking up from an induced coma, a healing coma. And we spent a lot of this issue on New Genesis, kind of really exploring New Genesis in this issue. I think it's the first time we're being introduced to it in the New 52 universe. And the main plot of this issue is them trying to get back to Earth to stop the Firstborn from completely making a mess of things. We get some more Orion and Wonder Woman dialogue and relationship building. Of course, the High Father's kind of pissed off at Orion for bringing people to New Genesis, and Orion's kind of exiled to the planet below to meditate, to really figure out inner peace and perfection and all that. Wonder Woman gives him a nice pep talk. by the end, Wonder Woman does convince the High Father to let them go back to Earth, um, but they have to leave Zeke, who's the big MacGuffin baby of this series so far, this whole series, behind. But Orion does a hero thing and becomes really cool. And at the end of the issue, um, we find out what the Firstborn has been doing while Wonder Woman has been away on New Genesis, and like a lot of these other things, we're really setting up for the climax, the whole big fight scene that's going to happen. So, and Wonder Woman again has been one of the better comics coming out of DC since the reboot. So, yeah, pick it up. And yeah, art's really neat. Just like you can tell by the cover. I mean, I always like these kind of like propaganda-ish sort of covers. I think it's a neat style. But yeah, cool beans. Going to the Movement, issue number 3. We're still in the first arc of the comic, and we're kind of doing this on two fronts. We have Catharsis on the cover, going against the police. I think it's the Coral City Police Department. She gets captured. They go, but puts up a hell of a fight. Like just on the first page, she's taken on a veritable army of cops before she gets captured. And on the other end, we have the rest of the team trying to convince Rainmaker, who's this really powerful, just kind of basically Storm from the X-Men in terms of power set, trying to convince her to join their cause. And we lose another rat. Really sad. First Mr. Trouncer, now we have Rascal, who dies, and Burden, who's the devil kid, comes gets some pivotal character development here, and we really kind of start to wonder: is he actually possessed by some sort of demon? Is it like a Jason Blood situation or Jason Blood Etrigan situation? At least that's what I'm wondering. We get a lot of team development home too, because we get some more scenes with Vengeance Moth and how they're doing with the cops that they have in their custody. So we're working on multiple fronts here in terms of story development, but it doesn't seem too stretched out. Like it seems like everything's getting just enough development right now. And if you've been watching these videos, you know that I just love Gail Simone's writing, and so I keep on following it. Characters are interesting. We keep on introducing new things at a pretty good rate. So I would keep on reading. See where it goes. At least for the first arc. If you're completely not interested, get interested. At least pick up, first arc. Only 3 issues in so far, so not a heavy investment. And like I said, I just love Gail Simone, so I trust her with this. And she seems to be enjoying writing it if you're following it on Tumblr. Speaking of Gail Simone, our next comic is Batgirl issue number 22, which is the start of a new arc, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, because last arc was the conclusion of the ventriloquist. So now we have Barbara going on a date with Ricky, who's her new boyfriend, pretty much, ever since she rescued him from the car trap, the bear trap in the car park garage, many issues ago. So they go on a date. They beat up some thugs who try to beat them up in an alleyway, kind of like I was reminded of Night Owl and Silk Spectre in Watchmen when they beat up the gang. So it's kind of that sort of thing going on. And what else happens? I read like all of these comics today, so excuse me if I'm not completely. But they go on a date. Barbara meets Ricky's family and is all happy, and then gets all sad because she remembers that she killed her brother. After the date, Barbara and her father, Commissioner Gordon, go to a shooting range where you find out that Gordon is just really defensive right now and doesn't want anything to happen to Barbara. He still doesn't know that she's Batgirl, apparently. And then at the very end, we have Gordon confronting Batman about this whole thing. And it's a really badass scene for Gordon. Gordon just punches out Batman, and it's badass. We get Gordon is one of my favorite characters in the Batman mythos, just because he is the honest cop, and you can really tell that he's still really upset about James's murder, and it's creating a divide between him and the Bat family, which could be dangerous for Batman, considering Jim Gordon is like his only ally in law enforcement. So I can't wait to see where this goes. And of course, the inevitable Gordon versus Batgirl sort of dynamic is going to be interesting. And I'm sure, yeah, I'm just sure it's going to be interesting. If you aren't reading Batgirl, just read Batgirl. Okay, so continuing, Nightwing, issue 22. We get the continuation of Nightwing versus the Prankster. We get kind of Nightwing doing a Spider-Man type of interrogation with the mayor. He's figured out the connection between the mayor and Tony Zuko, who he's still going after. What else happens? Tony Zuko finds out that Nightwing's after him. And then the Prankster at the back end of the comic, Prankster, who got loose in the last issue, kind of starts his master plan to bring Chicago to its knees. And it's very kind of Bane and Dark Knight Rises-esque. He kind of traps all the cops in one place. He shuts down all the stuff. He crashes a train. So it's basically chaos through Chicago. And Prankster's like, I'm untouchable at this point. So just cause chaos, do all sorts of things. And then Nightwing has to get involved, of course, and stop all the riots and whatever from happening. So, again, like most of these, we're reaching a climax. This is the point where the villain unleashes his master plan. Now it's up to Nightwing to stop him, and next issue is going to be action-packed, for sure. And I like Nightwing. It's kind of a B-tier comic, but it's good. It's actiony. If you like Nightwing, I like Nightwing as a character. If you like Nightwing, it's a good take on him. So 22 issues in, I would hope so. Okay, so moving on to Superman issue 21. The continuation of the Mindstorm, Hector Hammond sort of thing that we're getting. Main plot, Hive is trying to kidnap Hector Hammond in order to use him to kind of, create a huge hive mind between everyone on Earth. She's the main queen bee, I guess, of Hive, and she just goes on this plan, kind of fails. Hector Hammond gets loose, causes some trouble, and what's Superman doing with this? That's right, Clark is at a function with Cat Grant, and then does some Superman stuff, mainly rescuing people because Hector Hammond broke free, and he's kind of trying to attack Superman, but because Superman's mind is guarded, the attack kind of gets split, and qualities of Superman are going into all of his friends. So Lois is extremely brave, Jimmy gets sad at his responsibilities, and Perry White believes that he's Superman, and so Superman has to rescue all these people. Meanwhile, Hector Hammond kind of goes full MODOK and tries to take over Hive. And so, I mean, To be completely honest, I'm not a huge fan of Scott Lobdell. He's writing action comics as well, which I'll get to, so he's pretty much just in control of Superman at this point. I mean, it's not like he's not, I guess, destroying the character. He's not writing like, oh my god, Superman would never do this sort of thing. Um, but it's very, I don't know. It seems kind of like, oh, this is just kind of your standard Superman beating up people sort of thing. Um, I don't know. It's like these big stories, like Superman size, but they're kind of dumb. Kind of, they're not kind of just action movie sort of stories. If you enjoy that, fine, whatever. And I'm continuing to purchase the books, so yeah, that's my take. Now, Action Comics, kind of, I don't know what they're doing with the timeline here, because Action Comics is taking place, they refer to issue 24 of Superman, because in this it begins with Hector Hammond having basically a Death Star, and that gets attacked by these new guys who call themselves the Pax Galactica. Hector Hammond summons Superman to, hey, this new guy's making a mess of my shit. Superman comes up, tries to, basically just figuring out what's going on. He doesn't attack Hammond on sight for some reason. But then Superman and the new guy from the Pax Galactica, this, where's the picture of him? Yeah. Superman and this guy get into a fight. This guy is really super strong. Then at the end, the other members of the Pax Galactica come and we're like, hey, Superman, we're a bunch of Justice space alien people. And then Superman's like, okay. And then we're going to find out what they're really about next issue. Like I said, about Superman, still Scott Lobdell. Kind of just big, kind of action sort of things going on. Not really great, but it's Superman. It's not bad, and yeah, kind of meh. Now we get to the good Superman story, Superman Unchained, issue 2, written by Scott Snyder. So last issue left off with Superman discovering. There were satellites that fell from the sky. I think there were 13. Superman caught 12 of them. And the 13th was... the 13th satellite was stopped by something else. We're not quite sure. But it's this really old, powerful thing used by the U.S. in Hiroshima during World War II. So, in the beginning of this, Superman is taking on... the hacker group introduced in the last issue. Ascension, are they called? What are they called? Anyway, he's taking on the new hacker group, who is kind of 9/11ing the tower in Dubai. And we get this really, I think it's great, especially considering what they did with Man of Steel recently, where you kind of have, big skyscraper full of people falling. And this whole opening scene is Superman trying to figure out how to save all these people. He starts with 19 seconds, and through these pages, we get this inner monologue of Superman trying to figure out how to save all of these people, and then, like a good Superman, he finds a way to save all of the people. And we get this thing: I can save this many people, I can do this many people will die, but it'll save the majority, and we just get this monologue of him balancing out his options. But at the end, he finds a way to save everyone, which, that's the Superman I like. The Superman who saves everyone despite the odds. And so after that great scene where Superman saves everyone, we get some Clark and Bruce time. Bruce summons Superman. Bruce summons Clark to the Batcave, and they have a discussion about the hacker group, about what the mystery Superman thing is. Bruce did some research into it, and tells Superman, this guy is more powerful than you. He absorbs solar energy just like you, but he absorbs more of it, and is potentially more powerful, and he'd watch out for him if he were Superman. So then Superman goes to General Lane, Lois Lane's father, to see if he knows anything, and of course he does. At the end we get a fight between the military and Superman, where they've developed a new weapon to counter Superman that actually fucking works. And at the end we have the emergence of the thing. We're still not sure what it is, but it wants to destroy Superman, I think. And then, at the very end, Lex Luthor gets into the fray with a powered robot armor. So, right now, I'd say pick up Unchained. Definitely the best Superman comic that we're getting right now. Whole lots going on. We got Superman, we got Batman, we got the mystery thing, we got Lex Luthor, we have the hacker group. But it doesn't seem too crowded. Snyder is balancing all of these variables very well. Jim Lee's art is fantastic. And I think this is like the best kind of character of Superman that we're getting right now, where we're really seeing everything he's considering and everything he's kind of going through, just in terms of his heroics and how he handles that. And it's really interesting. It's just really well done. Pick it up. So now, gonna segue, or this is the comic I'm making the segue with, from Superman to Batman with Batman Superman issue 1. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. Kind of hard on the breath and the voice and all that. So Batman Superman number 1, we're introduced to a younger Batman and younger Superman. This is their first time meeting, which, just as I'm remembering this, is kind of weird considering Justice League issue 1 was supposed to be their first time meeting. But I don't know, comic books, whatever. So this is their other first time meeting. Batman, well, Catwoman is robbing a thing in Metropolis, so Batman goes to stop her, and he runs into Superman, who thinks Batman is a criminal and a murderer. But we find out Catwoman's not entirely in control. She's being possessed by this thing, whatever it is. I'm guessing that's the villain of this arc, who then transports Superman and Batman to Smallville, but it's not the same Batman. This is a Batman who knows Clark. This is an older Batman, but still a younger Clark. So Batman's like, whoa, Clark, what's with the genes? Because this is civilian Superman. Clark Kent, let me find the picture. Yeah, here it is. So this is kind of Action Comics issue number 1 Clark Kent with the jeans and the t-shirt. But aside from the small Batman-Superman fight scene we get, in the beginning of the book, we just have Clark and Bruce in their secret identities having a conversation with each other. And I think it's really interesting because you get that great dichotomy of Clark Kent always jumping in and always getting himself involved with heroics, with Bruce, who's kind of sitting on the sideline and just observing things going on. And after seeing Clark in action trying to save a little kid who's getting bullied, says, you're not really helping that kid. Now the bullies are just kind of going to come back and beat up the kid twice as much. So we kind of get the like optimism, pessimism thing between Bruce and Clark. But we also get to see how that reflects into their differences just in terms of their heroic identities, too. And it's a really interesting dichotomy, I think, and I really wonder where the story is going to go with the older Batman, younger Clark, and we don't yet find out if, like, I'm guessing in issue 2, we might see a younger Batman with an older Clark in another alternate timeline or whatever that's going on here. So, very intriguing first issue, and the art I want to point out. I mean, Jai Lee does a great job, but he only does half the book. He does like the first half, and the second half isn't. It's not ugly at all, but it's not Jai Lee, you know. So I wonder if they're gonna use Jai Lee in issue 2 or the other guy. Is it Ben Oliver? I think it might be Ben Oliver. And I'm gonna pick it up either way because the story's intriguing. Story kind of got me, and it's Batman, Superman. It's world's finest. So if you're interested in the characters, pick it up. So now we go into the Batman comics. So we're going to talk about Batman for a while now. Starting with The Dark Knight, issue 21, we get the conclusion of the Mad Hatter arc, which I think is long overdue. This is what, issue 6 of this arc by now or something? It's been a long arc. Does it say? On the book, it does not. I can't find it. I'm not going to look for it. But we get the conclusion. Last issue, Mad Hatter killed Bruce Wayne's girlfriend. So now this whole book is Batman going on a roaring rampage of revenge and just going brutal on Mad Hatter. Just let me get to the... Basically, it's just Batman beating the crap out of Mad Hatter, and we get to the point where he's just considering he really is. He just wants to kill. He's out for blood, and we see Alfred trying to say, "Hey, whoa, this isn't you," and of course, the death of the girlfriend is only adding to his grief about Damian, and we kind of get that at the end. We get this beautiful, well, not beautiful, but we get this really, I think, moving bit with, just in the Batcave, right here, Alfred saying, "For a moment, I thought I'd lost you," and we just see Damian's outfit in the cave. And we're reminded of that death, as well as the death that happened last issue. So we kind of get why Batman would be at his limit right now. And of course he doesn't kill Mad Hatter, because he pulls him out of the water, spares him, because that's not who Batman is. And then we get the so yeah. As long and as kind of just stretched out as I felt this arc is, I think this comic is a really good ending to it. Lots of, you've got a lot of drama with Batman kind of being pushed to the edge. I always love it when kind of Batman just goes like one-man soldier on a villain, and because he has to fight through all the henchmen first, and just completely brutal. I like brutal Batman. I like that fighting style, especially when it's done well, and it's done well in this book. So I don't know. I wouldn't pick up the whole arc, but I think this is a good single issue, and it's a good conclusion to the arc. We kind of get the same thing going into Batman. What is this? Batman Incorporated, or is it Batman International? It's Batman Incorporated. I'm tired. It's almost 1 o'clock. I've been reading comics all day. So they kind of get the same sort of thing going into Batman Incorporated number 12, with Batman after last issue, where he's took the Man-Bat serum and he's in this exoskeleton. We just get Batman completely brutalizing Leviathan, who is the Damian clone who killed Damian. And the majority of this comic is just the fight scene between Batman, like roided up Batman and Leviathan, and it is no holds bars. Um, Bruce is out for blood again. He's out for revenge, and it's a good fight scene. I also get some stuff with the Robins, Nightwing, Red Robin, and Jason Todd kind of going on the offensive towards the rest of Leviathan's towards the rest of Talia's organization, and they're kind of taking ground back against that. But next issue is, I'm pretty sure, the final issue of the series. I think they're ending with Incorporated number 13. And it promises to be a good one, because this one leaves off with Bruce and Talia. Just a duel to the death. So I can't wait for it. And, of course, it's Grant Morrison. It's well written. And, like I said, it's another Batman no-holds-bars fight, which I like. And if you've been reading Incorporated, then you might as well finish it at this point. It's good enough where you might as well just finish it. Tired. Moving on to Batman Detective Comics, issue number 22, start of a new arc with Wrath, who, like Prometheus before him, is a reverse Batman who is a cop killer. And that's basically the plot. You get, well, on the Bruce Wayne side of things, we have a new businessman in town who, Mr. Caldwell, who made an offer to buy Wayne Enterprises, and is kind of doing the same, kind of doing like a like technology sort of thing, but he's a weapon profiteer. He makes weapons, but also like body armor, that sort of thing. Offers to buy Wayne Tech. Wayne's like, no. And then we kind of get this thing where Mr. Caldwell's all like, Wayne isn't being very cooperative. Send in Mr. and Mrs. Winter. And, is it Mr. and Mrs. Winter? Waters. Mr. and Mrs. Waters. To straighten out Bruce Wayne. Meanwhile, we have Batman going, like I said, against Wrath, who's their new reverse Batman. You get some cops confusing the two, and the cops is like, whoa, Batman killed this cop. And then Jim Gordon's like, nah, Batman doesn't kill cops. Must be somebody else. And Batman goes after Scorn, who is Wrath's Robin, sort of thing. And we find out that Caldwell is somehow connected to Wrath and Scorn. And that Wrath has a personal vendetta against cops. So he might just be Prometheus, like at this point. And, I don't know, like I said, it's the first issue of a new arc. It's not bad, but it kind of feels like a story I've already seen, you know. I'll keep on reading it because I've already bought 22 issues of Detective Comics, you know, and it hasn't really been bad. But, you know, I'm just going to wait to see where it goes, basically. That's my take on it. So now we have Batman, issue 22, written by Scott Snyder. Continuation of 0 Year. And we get Bruce Wayne versus the Red Hood gang. And it's good. He's still testing out new equipment. He's not in the Batsuit yet. So part of the fight between Bruce and the Red Hood gang involves him trying to hide his identity. And it's a scene on a blimp. We get some disguises going on. What else? We're introduced to Penguin. A little bit. Get some Penguin in it. And then we have Bruce's uncle, who was introduced in the last issue, kind of reintroducing Bruce to the public because people thought Bruce Wayne was dead. Bruce Wayne wanted to keep it like that. The uncle's like, nope, you have to become the new head of Wayne Enterprises. Um, and then we have Bruce meeting Edward Nigma for the first time. They have a riddle thing going on, and it's a very well done, I think, illustration with the board game and in the, kind of an Egyptian motif. And yeah, so I mean, it wasn't as good as issue 1. I think there's like it started off with a lot of action, but this is a lot more exposition than issue 1. But still very good. I mean, Batman is still the best Batman comic that's being written out of the, like 7 that we're getting. So I'd pick it up, and I'd follow Zero Year. I'd follow Scott Snyder. I trust what he's doing with the character. The last Batman book we have is Batman and Robin / Batman and Catwoman, issue 22. Unlike the other comics in the issue 22 so far, of the Batman and Robin after Damian's death so far. Ugh, voice is completely dry. Throat's completely dry, I mean. With this, we kind of shy away from the Batman trying to revive Damian, trying to get all of his vengeance out and whatever. And we kind of explore his relationship with Carrie Kelly more. Alfred hired Kelly to watch Titus, his dog, so now he has to deal with Carrie Kelly kind of getting in his business. But the main plot of this comic is Catwoman calls Batman to help with a heist, but the heist, it's not of an object, it's that Catwoman has to steal a child to get her out of Chinese hands and into American government hand, because the child's father works for the American government now, and the Chinese aren't too happy about that. So more so than Bruce grieving over Damian, we kind of get him saving another child and kind of, getting over one child and remembering that he does this for everyone, not just for Damian. And I mean, I also like, in addition to No Holds Barred's beatdown Batman, I like Batman with a child and how he does care so much for children and just the citizens, and you see that. And we get some good Batman-Catwoman relationship stuff going on in this. I mean, it's not too heavy-handed, it's not all kissing and whatever, but, kind of more deeper things like how they would handle a child together, that sort of thing, because, of course, this is them rescuing a child. So this is, I think, one of the better issues of the comic. I like it. I like this issue. Now, getting into Justice League Dark issue 21, which is the end of this arc with Dr. Destiny, who has taken over the House of Mystery. I think it's called. They called that. Whatever. So we get the conclusion of this arc. Oh, it's mainly fight scene. We get Destiny versus Xanadu. We get Dead Man possessing Swamp Thing. We have Frankenstein versus some sort of demon creature. So it's just action on all fronts, basically, and yeah, just big fight scenes. Everyone's fighting each other. It's a whole big clusterfuck. Flash gets in on some of the action. It's really neat. And, yeah, I mean, this is the climax. This is the final issue of the arc. And we know that next arc, or that the next issue is going to be part of Trinity War. So it's kind of wondering how exactly Justice League Dark will tie into that. But yeah, it's a very satisfying conclusion. Very satisfying fight. We get some more relationship build-up between Deadman and Xanadu. And Flash is great. I like the Flash. Flash is great in this. So, if you've been reading Justice League Dark, pick it up. And it's a good, I think it's a good way to kind of put the story on hiatus because of the crossover, you know? So it's a good way to kind of put the story on hiatus until after Trinity War is over and they can start something new. So, now we have Justice League of America, issue 5. Also the end of an arc because they're starting with Trinity War after this. So we find out what really happened after last issue where Catwoman was supposedly killed. It wasn't Catwoman, it was Martian Manhunter in disguise. So, status quo remains the status quo. And kind of like with Justice League Dark, we get a big fight scene on all fronts. We get Manhunter versus something big. It's basically Justice League of America versus the new Society of Evil, is it? What is the thing called? I don't know. There's so many names to remember. So many new things. We're just going to call it the Society of Evil. Because I'm lazy and I don't want to fact check. So that's this comic. It's good. I enjoyed it. You also get you can see that this is it's a pretty thick comic, like for just a single issue, and it's more than just the fight scene. The fight scene takes up a majority of it. But then we find out, we have a lot of behind the scenes with Colonel Trevor and Amanda Waller, and how they're kind of leveraging, or trying to leverage, Justice League of America to get into the public eye, you know, favorably. And we have something happen with Dr. Light, which gives him Dr. Light superpowers. Which, I mean, once we're introduced to Dr. Light, we kind of know that he's going to become Dr. Light, because that's just what happens. And then the story ties up very neatly. Before Trinity War happens, the Society of Evil gets away, Justice League of America recoups, Trevor's like, I was initially skeptic of this team, but now I think they can do good things, and Waller's like, okay. So, yeah, it was a good action scene, good, just like big fight between the Justice League of America and the Society of Evil. Ties up the arc really well before Trinity War, so, yeah. So now, we're almost done. We're almost done. Justice League issue 21. This one is all Shazam. We get Shazam, basically Shazam versus Black Adam. We get the conclusion to this fight. Shazam turns the rest of his brothers and sisters into the Shazam family, or whatever they want to call it now. They have Mary right there, becoming Miss Shazam, or Miss Marvel. I don't know what they want to call her now, but, you know, it's that costume. You should recognize it. So it's kind of a big fight scene, again, between mainly Shazam and Black Adam, while the other Shazams go about trying to save the city and, you know, pick up collateral damage and all that. And Billy kind of learning more how to use his powers. He tries to basically Shazams everything up. He Shazams the tiger into some sort of super tiger in order to help fight Black Adam. But it's really him learning the extent of his powers. He does end up beating Black Adam, but only to at the very end of the comic, we get introduced to Mr. Mind. And it is really shit like this why I enjoy Captain America, or at least the Captain America mythos, because it sounds really fucking silly, even for comic books. You have the world's most powerful mortal, who's an 8-year-old kid who can transform by shouting a magic word, you know, that gives him all of these great superpowers, and his main arch nemesis is a super smart centipede, who's actually the size of a centipede, not like a giant centipede, just a centipede who can talk and is psychic. And it's just so ridiculous, and I love it. So I'm actually glad they brought Mr. Mind back. And, they finally finished the Shazam arc that they were building up forever. And it's satisfying. It really is. It's good. It's a good fight. But it's not only a fight. We get Billy kind of trying to be the optimist that his character is, and it's like saying, "Hey, you're just a big bully, and you got to be better, and you're not being a hero at all." And Black Adam's like, "No, I know what I'm doing. Give me my power." And Billy's like, "No, you don't deserve it." Very well, very good. So now we are getting into the Trinity War. We have Justice League issue 22 and Justice League of America issue 22. So in Justice League 22, we have the beginning. This is part 1 of Trinity War, which begins with somebody, we're not quite sure who yet, going into Madame Xanadu with, she thinks something bad is going to happen in the future. Xanadu reads her future and discovers, oh shit, Trinity War is going to happen. And after that happens, we have Shazam, after his fight with Black Adam, deciding that Black Adam does deserve a proper burial. So he takes Adam's ashes and he goes to Kandak, to Kandak, to however you're supposed to. Why is my camera focusing? Focus. Well, you can probably read it. It's blurry, but you can read it. Kandak, or whatever, to spread Black Adam's ashes. Of course, Kandak doesn't like people going onto their land, especially not magic-y super people. So his going over there almost starts a war, so the Justice League decides to intervene. And when they do, the Justice League of America decides, hey, we can't let the Justice League fight this battle. We got to intervene too. So we have the Justice League, Captain Marvel, and the Justice League of America all meeting up. And this ends... Oh, wait, no. Before they all meet up in Kandak, I'm sorry, Pandora meets Superman and Wonder Woman. And Pandora's like, hey, Superman, touch the box. And Superman's like, what box? The Pandora's box? And then Pandora's like, yeah, touch it. And kind of just shoves it into Superman. Superman goes a little crazy because it's Pandora's box and it makes things go evil. And then we end this issue, part 1 of Trinity War, with Superman accidentally killing Dr. Light, who was only around for 1 issue, because Dr. Light has to die, apparently. That's the new rule. So, you also get a proper introduction to the new Question, who we'll find out more about when I review Justice League of America issue 6. Sorry, I said it was Justice League of America issue 22. Justice League of America issue 6. Which is part 2 of Trinity War, so I'll get right into that right now. So, it begins where issue 1 left off, with Superman killing Dr. Light. So now the Justice League and Justice League of America are brought back to the Justice League of America headquarters. Oh, well, first they fight, of course. Justice League of America and Justice League fight. And what I like what they do here, they have Superman kill someone. And then you can just... He is completely distraught. He is, like, more so than, like, Man of Steel. He is just completely wrecked inside. And this continues the whole of the comic. He demands to be locked up. He's taken into custody by the Justice League of America. The rest of the Justice League follow him. And he's put under this, heavy security. He can't do anything. And so a lot of this issue after the fight, Superman decides, hey, lock me up, I killed a guy. You have Wonder Woman trying to figure out who's Pandora, what's she doing, because of course Pandora's a Greek myth. So Wonder Woman decides to take initiative with that. And then we have more of an introduction to the Question. And then well, Wonder Woman goes out to see Justice League Dark eventually because it's magic and they know magic. And we get more of the question. And I mean, originally I was skeptical of Trinity War because I just thought, oh, it's going to be, the three teams fighting. But these first two issues I am very interested. Mainly because of the question, who I'm glad is getting an introduction. And yes, he's completely different from Vic Sage question, but he doesn't seem bad. Like, he seems like I want to see where they're taking this new character, where they're taking this new question, and I kind of want to see what Pandora's up to. I'm just really interested because she's not the main villain. The main villain is the Society of Evil. We find out a little more about too, but still not enough to really explain to go into. But apparently the purpley suit guy, this guy, first appeared in Flashpoint, and it's confirmed that is the outsider from Flashpoint. So, kind of wondering if we're going to get anything from the old DC universe back. What's going to happen? Things kind of getting weird. So, yeah, Trinity War's looking surprisingly good. I wish I could say that was the end, but we still have 2 more comics left. So, Scott Snyder's The Wake, issue 2. Last issue, we ended off with the discovery of the strange water alien creature. This issue begins 5.1 million years ago, where we find out that, holy shit, sharks used to be fucking huge, and there used to be a whole tribe of the mysterious water alien people. Aside from that, cut into the present, we have the team that was brought down in issue 1. We have the marine biologist and the mythologist and all the guys kind of exploring the creature now, trying to figure out what this thing is exactly, and it's kind of doing, and we're kind of going into the more horror aspect of it now. The creature is kind of a mermaid or a siren and is giving people hallucinations. And it's kind of getting creepy. It's kind of getting spooky now, where we are getting these characters who are kind of hallucinating. We still have no idea what this creature is, but apparently it found humans. The humans didn't find it. It went after humans and it attacked the human base before, they just decided to capture it and study it. And that's why they brought everyone aboard. And, yeah, shit's getting weird. Shit's getting creepy with the hallucinations, and we still have no idea what the creature's motives are, but it's apparently fully conscious because it knows what it's doing. And then at the end, we skip to the future again, where the moon explodes. Don't know why that happens, but it happens. So, yeah. Like issue 1, like pretty much everything Snyder writes, very well written. They're really building the mystery. They're getting into the really spooky horror aspects, and I'd keep on reading it. I'd pick it up. So now, after over an hour, we are finally at the last comic. Red Sonja, or Sonja, issue 1, written by Gail Simone. So, I will admit right now, this is my first Red Sonja comic ever. I don't know the character at all. And I'm only picking it up because Gail Simone's writing it, and I'm a big fan of Gail Simone. But I am not disappointed. At the very beginning, we get a quick introduction, a quick origin story. Find out that Sonja was a slave who was forced to fight in an arena, and was one of only 2 people who survived the arena. And the king that finds her is like, whoa, she's been through enough, let's just give her a horse and give her her freedom. Flash forward to the present, we have these these robbers trying to rob Red Sonja's camp. She shows them that that's a terrible idea because she's Red Sonja. And then the king that rescued her initially is like, hey, we need your help. We're being invaded. Red Sonja's like, okay, I'll help you because you gave me my freedom. And then it's issue 1, so I don't really feel like I'm spoiling anything because it's, you know, the first issue. There's nothing really to spoil, no twists yet. But the invading army is led by the other woman who survived the arena with Sonja. So, kind of, yeah. It's really actiony. It's a really bloody, actiony barbarian comic, but it's not dumb. You know, like it's not like meatheaded. Like there's a lot of action, there's a lot of blood, but it's not like a meathead doopa doopa comic. And it's written by Gail Simone. She's smart about this whole thing, so I'd pick it up. Art is also really good. The art, I like it. So yeah. That is a month's worth of comics reviewed in under an hour and a half, which was what I was aiming for. So I'm proud. Actually, I was aiming for under an hour, but it wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't. So I'm proud I did that. That's an accomplishment for me. I really doubt you sat through the whole thing. I wouldn't have, but if you did, I mean, wow. Congratulations to you. I'm just doing this because I said I would. And, I mean, next week, I swear, will be a shorter video. Because I'll only have 1 week of comics to go through. And, I'll try and be more thorough than I was here. I kind of glossed over a lot. But, if you have watched the entire thing, thank you very much. And, just, yeah, I'll be back next week with more comics. More.